Welcome into a bonus edition of Fantasy Baseball today on Thursday, June 15th. Frank Stampfl joined by Chris Towers and a very special guest, former Major League outfielder and All-Star and World Series champion, Dexter Fowler. Welcome to the podcast. We really appreciate the time, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Let's get right into it. I know we only got you for a couple of minutes here, and I want to talk about that World Series win. You helped the Cubs and the 108-year drought came back down from 3-1 in the series, which featured an extremely dramatic Game 7, one where you hit a leadoff home run off of Corey Kluber. Tell us some about the emotion just in that game, in Game 7, throughout the series, and maybe a little behind the scenes on that Jason Hayward speech.
You know what? It's funny because it's kind of a blur. Like that, I feel like that game lasted for 3 weeks. Every time everybody asks me about that, I'm like, dang, did that really happen? That really happened? But no, we knew we were the best team in the National League. We knew we were the best team in the major leagues at the time. And it was just a matter about showing it. Obviously, they were up 3-1, but we knew we still had a chance.
Absolutely.
Does it ever get tired hearing World Series champion Dexter Fowler?
Anytime they have champion in the sentence, that's what it's all about.
Can you tell us
especially since we won the World Series 108 years?
Yeah. Can you tell us at all about that little Jason Hayward speech that we heard about?
Well, I mean, Jay Hay called everybody together. Everybody kind of spoke. Jay Hay started it off, but everybody kind of spoke. So we kind of cleared the air, just between, obviously, everything that been going on. Everybody was down of sorts. Now they came back and tied the game up, but I think everybody was ready to just go out and continue playing.
Yeah, you've overlapped a little bit with Shohei Ohtani towards the end of your career. Obviously, one of the true unicorns in the history of the sport. What was that like? And have you ever seen a better player than him? Like, can you even fathom what he does every day?
Yeah, so Shohei obviously is my teammate for a year. Just him and Trouty in the same room, but then you see Shohei, and Shohei's one of the nicest dudes you'll meet, right? Super respectful, comes in, gets his work done, works super hard. He's never with the position players. You only see him hit before the game. He hits before the game. Maybe he takes BP sometimes, but he usually just hits before the game in the cage. But he always is with the pitchers. And it's crazy because, you look at him and you're like, this dude doesn't even, practice hitting. He's this good, right? And he's not only is he the best player out there, he throws 100, right? Hits 450-plus foot homers. And the dude is the fastest dude on the field. Nobody knows that.
It's wild.
It's wild. The dude's Superman. You sit there and you see Trouty, and Trouty can't throw 100.
Yeah, he had a home run the other day, 460 feet. It was basically on the inside lower corner that he hit the opposite way. And it's just I don't know if I've ever seen someone do that.
It was funny because when he was in the home run derby, I was telling everybody, I was like, Shohei's going to win this. Just because I see him take BP every day. I remember the first time I saw this dude take BP. I was obviously with the Angels, and I come out, and we were in the minor league side because of the pandemic. So I'm out there, and we had the weight room was they had this deck, and it looks kind of over a field. And so I go out, and I can't see who's hitting, and there's home runs going out left center. And I'm like over the scoreboard, and they're going. And I'm like, damn, who's hitting, right? And it was crazy. I walk out, and I was like, that's a lefty hitting a ball like that? And it was Shohei. And I was like, this dude is unbelievable. Right-handed pull hitters can't hit balls like that. And obviously that pitch right there, that's his sweet spot. And he goes the opposite way better than anybody.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani, amazing. Dexter, in fantasy baseball, we're constantly scouting prospects and looking for the next big thing. And prior to 2009, you were ranked as a consensus top 15 prospect in all of baseball. What was that like for you? Did you feel any kind of added pressures just knowing that you ranked that highly on prospect list? What was that like?
I'm glad you just told me that now because I didn't know that.
So no pressure.
No, I'm just playing. No, there was pressure. There was pressure at the end of the day, but I think we as players put more pressure on ourselves. Nobody wants to go out and fail, right? So I don't think myself. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I didn't really care. I feel like I put more pressure on myself than the fans put on me, right? Because I wanted to be great. You want to win World Series. You want to be All-Stars. You want to do, everything under the sun. And it's just a matter about going out and doing it and having that confidence that you can do it and that you belong there.
Yeah, on that topic, the Reds recently called up Elly De La Cruz, 6'5" shortstop. This dude's a monster. He's already declared himself the fastest man in the world. He's switch hitter who hits 450-foot bombs from both sides of the plate. He's the fastest player on the Reds already. Have you had a chance to watch him? And if so, what are your thoughts?
That dude's a freak. He's a freak athlete, right? And I mean, I'd like to see him and Shohei race.
Yeah.
He thinks he's fast. He might. He is fast. He's super fast. But like, you got dudes like obviously Billy Hamilton. You got like those dudes fly, right? And that dude flies. He is fast. But I've seen a lot of guys that are up there with them. But I love his energy and I love his confidence.
Yeah.
Obviously, we love playing fantasy baseball and we're playing it and we're analyzing all of it. And were you aware of fantasy while playing? Like, did you have people heckling you or anything? And do you play at all?
Obviously, I'm playing in New York and I twisted my ankle, right? I'm rounding the base. I twisted my ankle. And it's probably like my third year in the big leagues or whatever. So I go and my ankle's swollen like crazy. They have to cart me around like to the get an x-ray. And as I'm going back, they're like, "Hey, Fowler, when you going to be back? You're on my fantasy team." I'm like, "Man, you don't even care about my ankle, man. This is crazy. Like, the only thing you care about is fantasy baseball." It was wild.
I could tell you that we care about the health of the players. I swear, Dexter. We were never rooting against you. We obviously want you to get back.
I need stolen bases. I need you to steal some bags. You hear that all the time. Like, I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, I'm trying to play the game.
Yeah. Do you play fantasy at all, whether it's baseball or football or anything?
I don't. I have two girls that are in the thick of things. I'm a dance dad, so like me sitting down and doing a lineup and doing I just can't wrap my head around another responsibility.
It's like another full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I had the time, I would.
Yeah. Yep. Let's rattle off a few rapid-fire questions here, and the MLB has shortened season with the new pitch clock. What are your general thoughts on the pitch clock this season?
I like it. It speeds the game up. That's always a plus. I feel like the guys like it. Just being I'm doing a lot of media stuff now, so I mean getting in there and the time of games. I feel like the fans love it. Just talking to them as well.
Yeah, in addition to the pitch clock, there's new rules limiting pickoff attempts. We got the bigger bases. It's all led to an increase in stolen bases. You were a pretty good base runner in your own right. How many do you think you could have stolen with these new rules?
I don't honestly. I don't get the bigger bases.
Okay,
I don't get that. Like I can see the shift and the pitch clock, but the bigger bases. I mean, what's another?
It's 8 inches. It's not nothing. It's not much.
Nothing. It's not nothing. Just get a little bigger lead.
Yeah, and especially with those new gloves that they're wearing too. I don't know if you had those when you were playing, Dexter, but it's like these mittens that add a couple of extra inches too. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, the little sliding things. I wore one of those. Mine was like this, and it just had the like pad right here.
I think if you were still playing, man, we're probably looking at like 30, 40 plus steals.
You know what? I appreciate that. You're the fantasy guy, so let's play fantasy.
Yeah, let's do it. I mentioned earlier, obviously, you had the chance to face Corey Kluber in his prime, one of the best pitchers at the time. I know, like, you're going to have to scroll through a whole Rolodex of all different kind of pitchers that you faced in your career, but if there's one that stands out, like, who was the toughest pitcher, the one that you would step up and say, oh, gosh, not this guy again?
I'd say probably Scherzer.
Max Scherzer?
Because when I first faced Scherzer, like, when he was with the Diamondbacks, Scherzer threw 100, and he was everywhere. He was effectively wild. Like, he had good stuff, but he never put it together, and it was like around the plate sometimes, and it's either a ball or a strike, and it wasn't close. But everything it was nasty. And then he became a strike thrower. And then it was just like, okay, this dude is – it's like DeGrom when DeGrom was on. Like, you're just not – you could throw a no-hitter. Like, the dude's just that good. And he's going to come after you, which is awesome.
All right. You're a pretty good outfielder in your time. Who would you say are very, very good? Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Very, very good.
That's an all-star right there. That's an all-star outfielder.
So you know the position. Who would you say are the 3 best outfielders in baseball right now?
Like all around?
Yeah, best outfield players right now.
I mean, you got Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
I would
also playing shortstop and second base this year,
right?
Which is incredible.
I go Acuna.
Yeah.
And I would go. I'm trying to think defense too.
Well, Dexter, I've got some Yankee decals behind me. I don't know if you.
Judge, yeah, but Judge is. Judge is a okay fielder.
Okay,
come on.
He's passable in center field at 6'7". That's pretty good. No,
but he's good. Don't get me wrong, but they're better fielders, is what I'm saying. Like, but yeah, Judge would have to be up there. Judge is MVP. Right now he's up there.
All right. Well, yeah. I think that's perfectly a good group. Those are all first-round picks in fantasy baseball as well. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, and Ronald Acuna. Dexter Fowler, before we let you go, man, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I know there's something that you deal with in your everyday life that you'd like to raise awareness about.
Yeah. So I have ulcerative colitis, and it's obviously I've shared that with the world now, and I just want to bring awareness to that cause, and just know that there are people out there that suffer through it too, Crohn's and colitis, and there are definitely some resources out there that you can go to and use, and that's crohnsandcolitis.com, and they can answer any of your questions that you might have, and it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable and to speak up, because you're only going to help the person next to you and obviously yourself.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about your experience, obviously not just as a ball player, but you're a father, as you mentioned as well, and maybe how that has affected some of the things in just your everyday life.
Yeah. So I try to educate my family as well. Like my girls, like they're 4 and 9, and just even talking to them about eating right, not stressing, everything under the sun, because at the end of the day, they're going to be taking care of me when I get older, right? So just to know, and they're going to be taking maybe their kids. You never know. It might be hereditary, and you get in that aspect of it, just so they know how to deal with it, and they have some markers to look out for as well.
Yeah, almost 2 million people live with inflammatory bowel disease, and I know you have a partnership as well. Would you like to reveal more information about that?
Yeah, so I'm partnered with AbbVie, and they came to me when I shared my story, and at the end of the day, like we said, we're trying to move into the right cause, and that's getting people educated and about the disease and helping them through their process as well through crohnsandcolitis.com.
Yep. I just wanted to, again, remind people of that website, crohnsandcolitis.com, where it's a valuable resource. And look, we know the value of information and resources, everything that we do here on a daily basis, talking about fantasy baseball, obviously pales in comparison. But again, that's crohnsandcolitis.com. That is World Series champ, Dexter Fowler. Thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it, man.
See, Chris, that never gets old.
Well, I know you like it. Thanks for joining us, Dexter.
Lovely. How it going, guys?
All right, we're going to wrap there for Dexter Fowler and Chris. I am Frank. Thanks as always for tuning in to Fantasy Baseball today. We'll be back again later on tonight. Bye-bye.